Waking up to say hip hip hooray, I'm glad I'm gay. Lavender Country, Come Out Singing, 1973. Decades before the likes of Brandi Carlile, brothers Osborne, Orville, Peck and Trixie Mattel worked to raise the visibility of LGBTQ artists in the U.S., folk and Americana music scenes, Haggerty gave the world Lavender Country. Hailing from the Pacific Northwest, Haggerty's 1973 self-titled LP under the Lavender Country banner is generally considered to be the first openly gay country album. Nearly half a century later, it still sounds bracingly intimate and modern, the unvarnished musings from a member of the Stonewall generation. But Haggerty, now 78, said he hears something different. Most people talk about how brave it was to make the album, blah, 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 that whole thing, he said. What I hear in my voice in the original Lavender Country album is fear. I was scared out of my mind. I was making an album and I didn't know what I was doing. By 1975, Lavender Country had disbanded. Nevertheless, Haggerty and his work found a following in the 21st century. There was a Lavender Country reissue in 2014, a live appearance alongside Peck in Seattle in 2019, and RuPaul's Drag Race icon and singer-slash-songwriter Mattel covered a Haggerty classic, I Can't Shake the Stranger Out of You, on her 2020 LP Barbara, and duetted with Haggerty on a new version of the track released as a single. NJ Brewery releases new beer to support Princeton Social Justice Center. And now we have new music. Blackberry Rose, Lavender Country sophomore album self-released by the band in 2019, is being released by New Brunswick-born Don Giovanni Records on February 18. Haggerty's early 70s work was light years ahead of its time, according to Don Giovanni co-founder Joe Steinhardt. It's unbridled truth, and it's real, unedited, Steinhardt said. It's a narrative that's real and not been crafted. And I think that is in right now, but it's so in that we're seeing a lot of narratives try to be crafted to feel uncrafted. It's very strange. We're seeing a lot of things try to be crafted to feel true, and you can't fake that. And Patrick wasn't faking it. It turns out Haggerty's brand of relentless musical candor is particularly well suited to the world of country and western. You go back to the tried and true expression, country music is 3 chords and the truth, and that's really true, he said. And it is a genre that allows you to tell a story, a lot more than others. In Haggerty's wake, countless others have become comfortable sharing their own stories. For many decades, I was the only gay country artist, he said. And in the last 10 years especially, and even going back to the last 20 years, there's been a complete explosion of gay country artists, many of whom I have done shows with and know and have met, and it's really quite refreshing to see them come up. And kind of how I feel about that is, okay, I'm the grandfather of this genre. I never expected that label, but it's what happened. NJ transgender comedian Julia Scotti is funny that way. Her story is seriously important. Lavender Country sounded urgently radical in 1973. Blackberry Rose, by contrast, is an album 50 years in the writing according to Haggerty, with weathered songs such as Leave All Delusions Behind and Don't Buy Her No More Roses possessing a downright stately patina. In listening to the new album, one is called on to consider how seldom music fans hear work from LGBTQ elders. "I've always been looking for underrepresented voices in the music industry," said Steinhardt. Haggerty and Lavender Country are part of a sea change in Don Giovanni's discography. "Here's who's been coming for me for their records, it's the senior citizens," Steinhardt said. "Patrick is one of the younger artists we've announced records from over the last year. Other artists in their golden years being heard thanks to the label include R&B and soul artist Swamp Dogg, 79, whose album I Need a Job, So I Can Buy More Auto-Tune will be released February 25th, and singer-songwriter and fiddle player Peter Stomfel, 83. It looks like Haggerty's rebellious authenticity is continuing to blaze new trails. "It's not sellable to be old in the music industry," said Steinhardt. "So just being old is brave, and then being LGBTQ and old and surviving the 80s and the 90s is a feat. It's amazing that Patrick's here to tell his story, and I'm humbled by the fact that he's allowed me to be part of telling that story because it's an amazing story that has to be told." Lavender Country will release Blackberry Rose via Don Giovanni Records on Friday, February 18th. The band will support the album with the Roundup, a 23-date tour with Austin Lucas, Paisley Fields and more, playing Kung Fu Necktie in Philadelphia on April 6 and the Knitting Factory in New York City on April 9.